Hey, future CPAs. Let's just jump right in. This is your high-yield explainer, laser-focused on helping you absolutely crush the corporate law section of your board exams. We're going to tackle two major hotspots: how corporations call it quits, and how foreign companies can legally start playing in our sandbox.
So right out of the gate, I've got a question for you. What's this 3-year rule that pops up all the time and can literally make or break your score on the exam? If you're not 100% sure, you're definitely going to want to stick around. This is a classic question, and by the end of this, you will never forget the answer. First up, let's talk about the end of the road for a corporation, what we call dissolution. Now, when you're studying for your exams, you need to picture this like a fork in the road. A corporation can go down one of two very different paths to basically, well, cease to exist.
And this slide lays out those two paths perfectly. On one side, you've got voluntary dissolution. This is the company itself raising its hand and saying, you know what, we're done. It's an inside job, an internal decision. But on the other side, that's involuntary dissolution. This is when the SEC shows up and says, nope, you're done. It's an external force shutting things down. Now, check out the triggers. For voluntary, if there are no creditors, a majority vote is enough. But if there are creditors, the vote needed jumps to 2/3. And that makes total sense, right? You need a stronger agreement when other people's money is involved. Involuntary, though, no voting. It's just an order from on high. This comparison, total board exam gold.
So what could a corporation possibly do to get the SEC to bring down the hammer? Well, these are the big red flags you absolutely have to memorize. Think of them as the ultimate corporate sins. Not using your charter or just being a ghost company for 5 straight years? Yeah, that's a big one. The SEC doesn't like zombies. And then you get the really bad stuff, getting your company started through fraud, or even worse, being used for sketchy activities like smuggling or tax evasion. If you spot any of these scenarios in an exam question, you'll know exactly where it's headed.
Okay, so the corporation's dissolved. But does it just poof, vanish into thin air? Not exactly. And this is where things get interesting. We're now entering what I like to call the corporate afterlife. This is the winding up period, and it is all about one very, very important rule. Here's a little study hack for you so this really sticks in your brain. Think of this 3-year period as the corporation's ghost phase. It's legally dead, okay? It can't go out and make new deals, but its spirit kind of lingers for 3 years to do one thing: settle its unfinished business. It can still sue people, it can still be sued, it pays off all its debts, collects everything it's owed, and then divides up whatever's left for the stockholders. It's a ghost with a to-do list.
And this is the magic number. 3 years. Seriously, burn this into your memory. The winding up period is 3 years. If you take away nothing else from this part, remember this number. This is the answer to the question I asked you at the very beginning.
And look, this isn't just some random number we pulled out of a hat. It's written right into the law. You're looking at the source code, basically. Section 139 of the Revised Corporation Code. The key phrase here is that a corporation shall nevertheless remain as a body corporate for 3 years just to settle its affairs. Knowing that Section 139 is the legal basis, that gives you a serious edge. All right, let's switch gears. We've covered how corporations end. Now let's talk about how foreign corporations can start their legal journey right here in the Philippines. This part is all about going global the right way.
So first things first, what even is a foreign corporation? The law is super straightforward on this. Section 140 basically says it all comes down to its origin story. If it wasn't born under Philippine law, it's considered foreign. That's it. It doesn't matter where the owners are from or where it operates. The only question is which country's laws gave it life.
Okay, so how does a foreign company go legit here? It's all about getting that license to transact business from the SEC. And to get it, there are a few non-negotiable hoops they've got to jump through. They have to submit their key documents, prove they're financially stable, and, this is a big one we'll get to next, they have to appoint a resident agent. Oh, and they need to deposit at least 500,000 pesos in securities. Think of that deposit as a safety net, just in case they owe money to anyone here in the Philippines. Okay, let's zoom in on that resident agent. If that security deposit is the financial safety net, the resident agent is kind of like the legal anchor. The easiest way to think about it? They're the corporation's official local mailbox. And what kind of mail are we talking about? The important kind: legal documents. The resident agent is the official person, or it could even be a company, right here in the Philippines whose entire job is to receive court summons and other legal notices for that foreign corporation. This is huge because it means a foreign company can't just operate here and then try to dodge a lawsuit by saying, "Sorry, you can't find us." The resident agent makes them legally present and totally accountable. And just to be crystal clear, this is absolutely mandatory. It's not a suggestion. It is a non-negotiable condition. Section 145 spells it out.
Without appointing a resident agent, a foreign corporation simply cannot get a license to do business here. End of story.
So what's the big deal? What happens if a foreign company just ignores all this and does business here anyway without a license? I can almost guarantee you'll see a question on this. Section 150 sets up this massive, one-sided legal trap. An unlicensed foreign company can be sued in our courts, but, and this is the killer part, that same company cannot sue anyone here. It has zero power to file a case. Just think about that for a second. They are completely vulnerable legally, but they have no power to fight back in court. You have to remember this critical imbalance.
All right, team, let's lock all this information in. It is time for our rapid-fire bullet review. This is your 60-second cram session. Get your phones out, get ready to screenshot these next few slides for your final reviews.
Golden rule number 1. Dissolution is a two-way street. Voluntary is the company's choice. Involuntary is the SEC dropping the hammer. Know what starts each one.
Golden rule number 2. What's the magic number for liquidation? 3 years. That is the length of the entire corporate afterlife. Don't forget it.
Golden rule number 3. What makes a corporation foreign? It's all about its birth certificate. If it was formed under laws other than those of the Philippines, it's foreign. That's it.
Golden rule number 4. No resident agent equals no license. Simple equation. This person or company is the essential legal link, that official mailbox.
And golden rule number 5, the ultimate penalty. No license? You're basically a defendant for life, never a plaintiff. You can get sued, but you can't sue back. Remember that huge disadvantage.
And I'll leave you with a little something to chew on. As a future CPA, where do you think the bigger challenge lies? Is it in the super detailed process of winding up a local company, making absolutely sure every single creditor and stockholder gets what they're owed? Or is it in the constant, careful work of making sure a big foreign client stays perfectly compliant with all our local rules? Both are massive responsibilities you'll one day face. Think about it. That's all for now. Go crush that exam.